Alright guys, this is going to be a brief video on how to clean a Glock. Now, right here I have a Glock 19, but the concept to clean a Glock is the same no matter what the model. It could be the 19, the 26, Glock 40, it could be any model at all. All Glocks you clean the same way. So if you see here what I've got set up, I've obviously got my Glock, I've got a cleaning rod here with a brass brush on the end of it. Now, I've got some Q-tips. I've also got a toothbrush. You don't have to use a toothbrush. You can use a brush specifically designed for cleaning a pistol. You can use whatever you want. I find an old toothbrush works really well. I've also got some Hops lubricating oil. And I've got my favorite. I have Ballistol multi-purpose cleaner and lubricant. I use this a lot. I've also got some cleaning pads. Here's one of them right here, a patch. And that's pretty much all I use. I like to use a plate here. I like to let things soak in it. And I'll explain that. Now this Glock is clean already, so I'm not actually going to clean it, but I'm going to show you what I do. What you do obviously may be different. Other people on the web, they may do different things as well. This is just what works for me. So if you guys have any comments or suggestions, please let me know. So the first thing you got to do, obviously, is make sure your firearm is unloaded. This is actually loaded right now. So I'm just going to remove the clip. Clip eject button is right here, or the magazine, I'm sorry. I removed it, placed that aside. There's no round in the chamber, but to be safe, I'm going to rack the slide anyway. I'm going to look inside, nothing in the chamber. You have to pull the trigger when you're going to disassemble the slide. I already know this is empty. To remove the slide, for those of you that are new, there's two little tabs right here. Right where your finger goes on the trigger, you're going to see a little tab in the front. You're going to see one on the other side as well. To remove the slide, you need to grasp it with your right hand, such as this, and you want to pull the slide back just a fraction, no more than, a centimeter, just enough so that you can use your other hand and pull both of these release tabs at the same time. So I'm going to try to do this, as slow as I can so you guys can see. I'm going to grab it with the right hand, pull it back just a hair. I'm now going to release these two tabs, and the whole slide is going to come forward. Once I do that, the Glock is now in two pieces. The frame is in one piece, and the slide and barrel is another piece. Once you've got it apart, you're going to notice a spring right here in the top slide. All you have to do is push the spring in and release it, and it comes right out just like this. At that point, I like to take the spring, I like to just put it in my plate, keep it aside. The barrel is the next piece. This just pops right up and comes right out of the slide. Now it's the slide, barrel, and the spring. And again, I take the barrel and I put that in my plate as well. Now there's other parts to the slide that I'm not going to get into today, such as the firing pin. You can remove that. You can remove this back plate right here. Mine happens to be silver because I changed it. But if your Glock is just totally stock, then it would be black. You can move the extractor. You can remove the little plunger. There's other things that you can clean here. I don't really clean them that often. They don't get that dirty. If you did want to remove this, you basically have to remove this back plate right here, and at that point you can slide the firing pin out, your extractor can come out, and the plunger can come out. For the purpose of today, we're not going to worry about that. I don't clean that all that often. Again, this Glock is clean, but what I would do right now, assuming it was dirty, is I would take my Ballistol, and again, I really like this product, I use it a lot. What I would do is I take the barrel, I spray the Ballistol all in it, let it soak, I leave it here in the plate. I take the spring. I don't really spray Ballistol on the spring. Usually I take my toothbrush and I scrub it. I try to get all the carbon off it, all the gunpowder off it. If it's really dirty, I may spray it with some Ballistol, let it soak a little bit. But I try to clean it up as best I can. And see, if you're looking in the plate, you can see there's obviously a little residue. I fired it, since I cleaned it. But I do try to just clean it as best I can. Then I dry it up. I don't want to leave this, soaking in oil or anything. Once that's clean, again, my barrel has been sprayed. I let the barrel soak a little bit. Once it's soaked for a little while, I then take a brass brush attached to a rod and I make a few passes through the barrel, making sure that the brush comes all the way out before I go back through it. I do that a few times, get any debris out. At that point, I remove the brush off the cleaning rod and I take a dry patch. Basically, I just put the patch over the cleaning rod like this, and I then pass it through the barrel all the way, until it's clean. I may change the patch a few times and continue to do that until I get a patch that comes out of the barrel clean. At that point, you should be able to see through the barrel. I don't think you can see it here on the camera, but this barrel is perfectly clean. And if you hold yours up to the light, you should be able to see right through it. It should be totally clean and dry. The next part is the slide. Again, I take my toothbrush, I clean in the rails of the slide. If you see here, there's two channels, one on this side, one on this side. I really try to clean that very well. Get all the carbon out of that, get all the grit. There may be pieces of brass, who knows. I try to clean all that. Sometimes you need to take a rag also. If you have a cotton rag, you can clean the whole thing. I tend to think that terry cloth rags that you can use for wax for your car, those type of rags work really well. I use those all the time. So I clean that, get it all nice and clean. I clean everything in here with a toothbrush. Another thing I do is I take a Q-tip, and you can soak this in some rubbing alcohol. You can use this to get in here, clean it more, places where maybe the rag can't reach, and it should come out relatively clean. Now again, I fired this gun since the last time I cleaned it, so you can tell the Q-tip is a little dirty, but not overly dirty. Once this is all clean, I move on to the frame. Same concept with the frame. I take the toothbrush or any type of brush that you have, scrub in here, cleaning where the rails are going to line up. If it's excessively dirty, use some more Q-tips. You could soak it with some rubbing alcohol, clean inside here, clean inside everything. You want to get it nice and clean. You want to get all the carbon off, any brass fragments, any soot. You want it all nice and spotless. Once that's all done, sometimes I take a rag and I come in here from the bottom. There may be some carbon buildup, some powder buildup, and I just take the rag and I come in here and I clean back and forth, just to get it all as spotless as I can. Once it's all clean and all dry, it's important to oil it, but you don't want to over oil it. I use Hops lubricating oil for that part. What I do is I take a clean Q-tip, I literally open this up, and I haven't oiled this, so I'll put a little bit on right now, and I take it, put a drop of oil on the bottom of my Q-tip, not too much, you don't want to overdo it. And basically, again, different people have different concepts. Some people put a drop here, and they let it run down. I like to put it on a Q-tip, just a drop, and I lubricate the rail here. This is the part that's going to be making contact with the frame. This is always moving back and forth every time you fire the weapon. Therefore, I like to just keep a little drop of oil on it. I also take and put a little bit of oil right here, because this is where the barrel goes, and this is where the barrel slides back and forth. Just going to add a little bit more to the Q-tip. Do not overdo it. Just a little bit is necessary. Once I've oiled the slide, I take the frame and I do the same thing. I just put a little bit of oil over here on the sides where I know the top slide is going to be rubbing back and forth every time I pull the trigger. That's pretty much the extent of how I oil it. Again, other people do different things. I forgot to mention one other thing I like to do is I like to put just a little drop of oil on the outside of the barrel. Don't put any oil on the inside. That's very important that you don't do that. But the outside I put just a little bit, and again, that's because the barrel does slide back and forth in the slide when you're firing it, and I like to keep that well lubricated. Once you're all done with that, reassembly is very simple. Take the slide, take the barrel, place it back in, take the spring. If you look at the spring, there's a flat end and there's a little bit of a roundish end. The rounder part goes right in the front and the flatter part goes in the back, and it just pops right in. Once your spring is back in, the whole top is ready to be reassembled with the bottom half. Line it up, slide it all the way back, and you're good to go. It's now reassembled. It's ready to be fired. Another thing you can do, I do it sometimes when I have them, is I buy Rem oil wipes. It's made by Remington. It's basically just a wipe that has Remington's oil on it. And I take that and I just kind of clean the outside of the slide. Sometimes I'll clean the grip, but I don't want to get too much oil on it. It just protects the gun, gives it a little bit of a shine, and it makes it nice and clean. Again, that's what I do, guys. I hope you guys have found this helpful. It's the same concept no matter what Glock you're cleaning. Different people do different things. Some people oil it more, some people oil it less, some people use a toothbrush, some people use a brass brush. There's all different things you can do. I encourage you to look on YouTube, check out other videos, see what you guys like and what you don't like. Again, there's more detailed cleaning. You can remove the firing pin, but for me, this works pretty well. I've fired maybe 1,000 rounds through this gun, and I've done this type of cleaning every couple of hundred rounds. I have friends that clean it more often. I have friends that don't clean it at all, and it still works. Totally up to you, but I do recommend you at least do this level of cleaning every couple of hundred rounds. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. I have other videos that you may find helpful. And if you have other suggestions or you do it differently and you'd like to let me know or let anyone else know, please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you.